What is up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. The figure I'm reviewing today is the Ocular Max Volatus Regenesis. This is their take on a G2 Blastoff. Now, I did review the original Ocular Max Blastoff a couple years ago. And all in all, this figure is basically the same as that one, but because it's been a few years, I am going to give it the full shakedown once again. But yeah, it is identical to the original figure, except just with a color shift from brown and black to white and black with purple camo on it. Purple camo was just a stroke of genius that Hasbro had way back in the 80s when everything was garishly colored. Oh, yeah. 90s, I don't know. Sometime way back when. But, yeah. In terms of accessories, the only accessory he comes with is his little gun here, which has a handle, and the tab is in the back of the palm. So when you throw that into his hand, that'll fit into a little slot back there, and it just closes over. And now he's got his gun, which he holds just fine. Sculpted well, no paint. That's all that there is to that. His head is on a ball joint. It will look up and down, go side to side a bit, of course rotate freely. His arms will go all the way around, go out for the full tree pose. Does have a bicep swivel. You kind of need to grab it by its by this joint here when you swivel it. Otherwise, you might end up swiveling his forearm anyhow, which is a transformation joint more than anything else. His elbow is double jointed. Gives you, I mean, as full of a run as that shape of arm is going to get you. His hand has always looked a little weird to me. It's just, the proportions of it are just a bit weird. But it is on a swivel. Thumb is on a ball joint. Each finger is on a single joint at the base knuckle. It's a posable hand, but probably the worst kind of posable hand. He does have an ab crunch for about that much. Waist swivel works just fine. He's got weird little skirt armors here. You can bring out. There's also another joint here that you can fold it out that way. So his leg will go that far forwards, that far back. Go out for the full Van Damme. His leg is this weird. He's got this weird thing going on his hip. You can see how it's got this little joint system down here, and really it's supposed to be moving on this joint. But if you've got his legs out and you push them in, they're going to move in on this joint here. So while you're holding the figure like this, it's just kind of best to kind of, you know, push here with your finger and push here with your palm to kind of give it some leverage as you put his leg back in. Thigh swivel here. Basically a single, I mean, it's technically a double joint, but you are not going to get anything else out of that. 90 degrees at bend. No ankle tip, but I guess you can do a little movement on that like so. And that's pretty much all that there is to this figure. All in all, I think that it's a pretty good looking figure, actually. This is the point where I say that I still hold to the Unique Toys Bruticus as being my favorite Bruticus. I just really liked that figure and all of the figures that made it up, but I've actually never put this guy together. So I did review this one and the Swindle and the helicopter guy whose name escapes me at the moment. but never got my hands on the last two. So this is going to be a first for me. We'll throw these into the playlist and see how it goes. One other thing, when you've got them sitting here like this, there's a tab that goes into a slot here. That's for transformation. When you're just posing it around, you want to keep that tab outside of the skirt armors. Otherwise, it will force your hips in, and he'll have weird looking proportions like that. So, but let's get him transformed up. We'll start at the top of the thing and work our way down. Maybe we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. That sounds nice. So, first thing you want to do to transform the leg properly is you want to disconnect this panel right here. And then this will kind of rotate around, and then you don't want to mess with that for the time being. You can disconnect this tail here and swing that around. There's this double joint here that you kind of fold it back, and there's a peg and a slot to kind of put that in place, straighten that out. If you open this part up, you can tilt out this thruster and pull it all the way out. This panel here will flip down, assuming it's not flipped down already. The toe can come around and just fold out on this joint. There's a little tab here that goes into a slot there. For the front of the leg, you can open up this panel here, and then open up this panel here, and then fold this around and then close. Nope, not quite close that panel yet. What you want to do at this point then is there's a joint right along here. You can see that seam coming around in the hinge right here. So you want to just take his leg and snap it in half, like so. That will allow you to pull this panel out, which will allow you to put this panel in, which will allow you to flip this little panel out. And then you just kind of want to snap that back together. And then we are going to do the same for the other, well, for real quick, we'll take it out of skirt armor too. So we want to fold this panel out, fold this little panel out, open up the skirt, flatten down this leg, and then this is going to fold back up, and this tab is going to go into the little slot in here. And that is going to be it for that. We'll leave this up just for now. Just for a little bit longer. And so the other leg is going to get done basically exactly the same. So bring up this panel here, flip that around, bring out this guy a little bit, bring up the tail, fold this panel down, clip that tail into place, bring out this thruster, bring up his toe, open up this guy here, crack that leg in half, open up this guy, fold that out, fold that out, fold that in, bring up his skirt armor, and that little panel there, and alrighty, now we can start pegging stuff together. So we'll take his legs, peg them together. You want to make sure you peg them together pretty solidly, because otherwise you'll have a persistent gap along his legs, and no, we don't want that. persistent thigh gap is a very nice thing in some contexts, but, you know, not in others. If you are too young to understand that reference, please close the video now. Because this is YouTube, bitches. Alrighty, now we're going to take this. These little tabs are going to fit into these slots here. And again with the other side, these can fold down. We can take his gun at this point, fold up the handle, fold up the barrel, and then this little tab back here will fit into that hole right there. And we can take these and close these down and close these on top of them. I feel like they close too much. That's not good. There we go. So now for the upper part of his body, and I'm going to raise this up just a bit. What we want to do is open up these guys here. We're going to open up this, pull this out a bit. Then we can take this and flip this around. I don't want to do that yet. No, first we'll take these little panels here and fold them out. And then you want to split this little shark's fin back here. And now we can bring that head all the way back. We can't fold this in until we put the arms away, so one thing that you do want to do, let me get one of these arms partly out of the way so you can take a look at this. This little white panel here fills in that little empty spot there, but not while it's like this. You have to have this partly swung down and then tuck it in there, and then it goes into place. So for these arms here, what we're going to do is we're going to fold them out like so, and then bring them in, yes, bring them in. This hand here is going to come down. We want to rotate this hand. Nope, not at all. Bring that back up, rotate this nose cone around, and do the same for the other side. This is one of the few times that you'll see that I don't do the standard pose for putting hands away, because it's just not required on this. So you do want to make sure that the back of the hand is facing towards what is going to be the inside. And then you want to rotate it out at the little forearm swivel and then rotate it back up at the bicep. And then you're going to do some bullshittery with the elbow joint to bring it back up and around. And then we're going to do the same for the other side. So these are going to swing together. What is fighting me? place these together so that they tab in properly. Make sure of that tab that it goes in properly. Plug this all together. With that folded down, we can take this panel, line up the halves of that tail so they go just around the head, push that into place. And now the last thing to do is just swing this around. It's kind of tricky because you want to get this peg in and these pegs on without messing anything up. And I found that the best thing to do is to kind of bring this down and then tilt it into place. And we'll do that again for the other side. Kind of bring this down and then tilt that into place. Boom. And now we have Volatus in his vehicle mode. And he looks really good. I was talking to a friend of mine was saying how the Combaticon team is so weird because you've got this military vehicle that's a tank, and this one is a Humvee, and this one is a armored carrier thing, and then you have a space shuttle. I'm like, well, they do make a version of the space shuttle. It's not the space shuttle per se, but it is a space plane that is a military vehicle. It's unmanned. Though that's not the aesthetic they're going for with this. This is definitely an Enterprise class space shuttle. A little long for one, I think, but it's all good. Looks great, actually. Fairly clean from the bottom, too. I mean, of course, not like really clean, but, not that bad. You can take and extend these panels here, and then this little guy here. And now he's got landing gear. But that is the extent of the action features. But all in all, it's really good. When I was a kid, I actually wanted to collect the Combaticons, and this was the only one that I got. Which was, unfortunate because I never was able to complete that robot. But it was also kind of nice because the space shuttle was always my favorite thing anyhow when I was a kid. But anyhow, that's enough for this. It's a good looking set. And this is a good looking figure in that set. And I can give it my recommendation. Everybody, thanks for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.